Hey guys, and get ready. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you how to make your challenges work for you. Now, I want you to think, what do these three people have in common? I'm talking about JK Rowling, Richard Branson, and Oprah Winfrey. Now, I'm Jessica, one half of Moonshot You, and can I get you to like this video and subscribe to this channel, because we are going to drop massive bombs today and help you guys live a better life. Help you guys overcome challenges, live a better quality of life, which might be kind of like stress less, be less anxious, and be more present and more aware. So if you stick to the end of this video, what you're going to see is how to make your challenges work for you. And I'm actually going to share with you 4 top tips on what to do for all of you listening at home and how to make it more practical for you. So let's get into it. Okay, so what I've done is I've highlighted 3 extreme examples of 3 different people with different challenges that they've had, right? Richard Branson has dyslexia. JK Rowling faced rejection for 6 years straight when it came time for her to putting her manuscript for Harry Potter forward. And Oprah Winfrey, aside from being an African American woman growing up in the 50s, she actually gave birth at 14 years old. Now these are 3 extreme challenges that I'd like to focus on today. So you might be sitting there thinking at home, whatever your challenge is, you can't overcome that. I think let's look at them and their 3 examples as to what they did differently to overcome those challenges. So we'll break it down one by one. Starting with Richard Branson, let's take a look at what his challenges were and what did he see, most importantly. So Richard Branson dropped out of school when he was 15 years old due to his learning difficulties. But later on, he was actually quoted saying, dyslexia is kind of a disability, but also kind of an opportunity, depending on how you see it. Now, I've got the direct quote up here, so that's exactly what he said inside this article. So it very much comes down to, how do you see it? Do you see it as something that can stop you and hinder you, or something that you could use to actually somehow channel and somehow use to fuel you in a more positive way? I think the biggest takeaway we can take away from Richard Branson is to find a way to use what your challenge is as a way to work for you rather than against you. Moving on to Oprah Winfrey. Oprah has experienced tremendous abuse, sexual abuse, trauma, mental abuse, racism. She was raped by multiple of her family members at such a young age, and she gave birth when she was just 14 years old. Okay, now the odds of her making it to even 50, being alive, were slim, let alone the chances of her being a billionaire. Now she's like, I think I read, a 3 times over billionaire, but yet she managed to make it through. So she had all those challenges, but she found a way to use those challenges as a way to fuel her forward. So oftentimes when we're challenged, when something's happened to us and we feel like a victim, it can be so easy to sit in that kind of negative victim space. Oh, why did this happen to me? Oh, poor me. But instead, what Oprah really did is she used what happened to her as a way to channel that. So she channeled that crankiness, that frustration, that anger of what had happened to her and used it to fuel her, because she needed an insane amount of gasoline, an insane amount of fuel to get her to where she wanted to go. Oprah believed in herself enough that that is what carried her forward. So she trusted in herself enough, and her thinking about herself and her abilities was strong enough that she goes, well, listen, if I've overcome that, that's my thinking, right? I've overcome all those challenges, that you know what, I can give this a go. And that's what she used to help fuel her every single day, amidst being a young African American woman in a predominantly white space where everyone on TV was often a white male back then. So that's her tip there that she used. So I think the biggest tip here when it comes to looking at what happened with Oprah is, how do you want to use what happened to you? Do you want to use what happened to you as something that knocks you down, or something that fuels you forward? Now, I'm not discounting the trauma and everything she's been through in any way, shape or form. I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely not easy. I've been through my own experiences before. It's not an easy situation, but it very much comes down to how you see it, then what you want to do about it moving forward. So taking the right progressive steps to comfortably move forward. But ultimately, how do you want to see it? Something that's going to stop you and hinder you, or something that's going to fuel you and drive you even further? Final example, JK Rowling. If JK Rowling, let's think for a minute. If she gave up If she didn't keep carrying on through all those rejections, we wouldn't have Harry Potter. We wouldn't have what we have now. Like, her geniusness and her ability to think of that concept is what created Harry Potter into what it is today. And I think that's really important to highlight here. Her challenge was rejection. How do I get over rejection? How do I see it differently? How do I make sure I can still make my concept come to life? So that's a challenge that we all face. Every single day we face the challenge of being rejected. And it sucks, right? I get rejected in the business world, everything happens, okay? Like, it's common. But I think what's really important here, the way that JK overcame her rejections and her failures, I guess you could say, was that she believed in herself enough. And she believed in her manuscript enough. So she really, really believed that her story for Harry Potter was worth fighting for. That she would go out to bat for it. She would put her life on the line and say, these rejections are worth it. So what we've got to do, I think the biggest lesson to take away from JK Rowling's challenges is, do you believe in what you're putting forward enough? Do you believe in yourself enough? Because if you do, and if you build that inner strength up, that's what will help you overcome those rejections and overcome that challenge. Okay guys, recap and the 4 top tips that you can do at home to help you overcome challenges. We're going to start with tip number 1. Choose what you focus on. What do you focus on? You're the victim, or you are the victim but you're using it to fuel you. Tip number 2, you have to build your purpose so strong. So JK Rowling's purpose and Oprah Winfrey's purpose was to do it to pay it forward. They built up their internal purpose so strong that that's also what kept them going, right? That's what gave them that strength and that fuel to keep going. Third tip, what we've got to do is believe in what you're doing. Believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, so much so that it helps drive you forward. It helps make whatever crazy idea you have possible because you first believe in it. Finally, tip number 4, be so focused on the outcome. Be so laser-like focused on the outcome, just like JK Rowling was, that her only outcome, the only thing she could see, was Harry Potter printed on the shelves. Harry Potter made into real life. That's something really important that we need to focus on, and just know the end goal is there. That's what I'm aiming for. Even if I'm facing all these challenges and these problems, I can still get there. So there you go guys. How do you use challenges to fuel you, not hinder you? How do you help them reach your goals? Use them to help you reach your goals. And my 4 top tips of what to do at home. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video and share it with someone who you know really needs to hear this message today.